Hi, I'm James at British Customs. Today we're going to discuss some of our turn signal options that we have for both liquid-cooled and air-cooled motorcycles and discuss our plug-and-play harness and how it can help simplify the installation process on these. So we're just going to talk about some of the adapters that we have here. We'll start off with this one right here, which is our turn signal adapter. Replaces the thread fitting on the K&S turn signals. That's the stock one that comes with turn signal. You take that off and put this on. It's machined out of 6061 aluminum with a black anodized finish, and this will give you a nice flush mount to all of our adapters and also fit in the stock locations. Now we have our rear shock mount adapter. Again, these mount up here. They also work with the Mo.Blaze pins and the analog turn signals. And that mounts right up to the shock. That's also laser cut aluminum with a black powder coat finish. Then we have our license plate bracket. This mounts underneath the license plate, and turn signals will mount up to it that way. This is laser cut out of stainless steel, 304 stainless with a black powder coat finish. And then the other one we have is our rectifier mount kit. This will work on air-cooled, liquid-cooled. If you have a rectifier, it'll fit right over here. On the liquid-cooled ones, the rectifier is not there, but the bolt holes are still there, so you can bolt that up. And again, that's laser cut out of 304 stainless and black powder coat finish. So this is our retro turn signal using our universal adapters that you don't have to solder anything. Just a screw-on splice connector like that. Come out looking like this and plug into whatever you have, either liquid-cooled or air-cooled. So the first signal we want to talk about is our K&S retro turn signal. And this comes in both LED or standard lighting and works on both air-cooled or liquid-cooled. You just have to use the correct adapter. You're going to use this for your liquid-cooled one or this one for your air-cooled. And with this, we have our own adapter to mount it into the stock locations. So you can take that off, and then this piece comes out. Snip these ends off. Now you can slide this in, and this will work in its stock location or on any of our mounting brackets that we supply. It makes it for a much tidier installation. Now that you've cut these off, that's where these come in. You're either going to attach for your liquid cooled or for your air cooled. So all you have to do here is strip away and then we just slide on our splicer here. And if you use a little lube on this, it'll help the wire slide through a little bit easier. You want to get your wire so it's coming out because it has to make contact with that piece there. So this makes it easier. You don't have to be soldering and shrink tubing and all that. Make sure you can keep it in there. This side slides through a lot easier. It's a little bit thinner gauge insulation. Pull them nice and tight, make sure they're not coming apart. And now you'll be able to plug this into the stock harness. Again, this one would be for liquid cooled. If you had air cooled, you'd be using this one. Attach your black to black and the white to whatever color is on the turn signal. Same thing when you plug it into the bike. So now we're going to talk about the different locations that we can mount these bulbs. We're going to use, for example, right now, the Speed Twin 900. It's a brand new 2023. And for the front, we have two options available. You can either mount it right here in the stock location, and that's what this adapter right here helps us with. And you'll see that that brings it in nice and tight. Looks a little nicer with the dark lens on it. And then your other option would be our rectifier mount kit, which on this bike we don't need to put it behind the rectifier because the rectifier is in a different location, but the holes are still there on the triple clamp. So you mount it right there, and then the bulb would mount over here. And then you get rid of these entirely, clean up your front end real nice with that. For the rear, we offer three different options. So one, you can install right to the stock location using our bracket here. It's going to put your turn signal right over there, nice and clean. Another option is with our shock mount, which bolts in right here. Put your turn signal right in there, nice and tight for a clean custom look. But our third option, which you're going to want if you're running bags on the side here, it works with the stock. But if you were to run, say, our pan tail light or had a fender eliminator kit or something like that, then you would need our license plate mount. You'd have your license plate right there, and then these bolt on right over here, and your turn signal will bolt on right there. And then that way, because if you were to use our shock mount and your bulb is there and now your bag is there, you're never going to see your turn signal, so you need to relocate it. If you don't have the retro tail light or anything, then you wouldn't have to worry about it. Just keep them in the stock location. So now we'll talk about a couple different options we have for turn signals. We'll start with the Mo.Blaze pins, and they can bolt into any one of our brackets. You can use an extender that will push them out a little bit so you can keep it tight like that, or you can mount this to that and put it out about another inch to 1.25 inches. And these are LED. Again, will work on air-cooled, liquid-cooled, and works with our universal wiring harness. The next one we have is the Denali analog. Super clean, custom look there. Will mount into your stock location onto any of our brackets. And again, if you don't want it so tight and you want to make them stand out a little bit further, there's a spacer kit, puts it out about 1 inch, and bolt on there, there. So you have a couple options with that. And again, works with our universal harness. Now, to make these turn signals work, you're going to need a flasher for the LED lighting because it won't work with the stock flasher. So first you got to figure out whether you got a 2-pin or a 3-pin flasher on your air-cooled models. You're either going to have a plug-in like this, or you're going to have one that pops out and plugs straight in like that. So that's what you got to figure out first. You order the one you need, and then that will be able to make these flash properly. Otherwise, you might get a hyper flash where it thinks a bulb is blown out, so it blinks really fast. And this will fix that problem and make it blink more slowly. You can run it with the hyper flash if you want. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to fix that, you need a flasher. For the CAN bus systems, sometimes you plug them in and they will work perfect. Other times they won't, and you have to go into the system and change the setting, and you might find a setting in there that will make it work. If that doesn't work, then you need to put on this CAN bus harness, and then that'll work just like the flashers, changes the load, which then makes it flash at the right speed. Sometimes even that, you'll still have to go in and change the setting in the system on the bike itself. But that'll fix the problem if that's not working from the start.